Hello everyone. So this is the summary of the poem The Last Ride Together by Robert Browning. So these are the important points. This poem is a dramatic monologue written by Robert Browning, published in 1855 in the collection of poems Man and Women. This poem is a love poem about a lover who waited for his beloved for a long period of time, who rejected him for another lover. Here the lover makes two requests to his beloved. First one is that she should know that he loves her too much. Second is he wants her to come for a last ride together. So, this is the text of the poem. I said, then, dearest, since it is so, since now at length my fate I know, since nothing all my love avails, since all my life seemed meant for fails, since this was written and needs must be, my whole heart rises up to bless your name in pride and thankfulness. Take back the hope you gave, I claim only a memory of the same, and this beside, if you will not blame, your leave for one more last ride with me. So, when the poem opens, the rejected lover says that he has been waiting for so long for his beloved to accept his love, but she has rejected him for another lover. Next, he says that his love for his beloved was true and sincere, but now it is clear to him that he can't get her love even after making so many efforts. Her love was the only meaningful thing in his life, but he has failed to win her heart. But he doesn't blame his beloved for this, and he says that this failure was meant by God. And now he feels proud, and he also thanks his beloved for spending time with him and by bestowing the happy moments of life that was a kind of bliss for him. Next, he prays to God to bless his beloved. Now he doesn't entertain any hopes to get her love, as it is clear to him that he is not going to get her love. Next, he makes two requests to his beloved. The first one is that he wants to cherish the memory of her love, and he also requests her for a last ride together if he doesn't find this proposal to be inappropriate or indecent. My mistress bent that brow of hers, those deep dark eyes where pride demurs, when pity would be softening through, fixed me a breathing while or two, with life or death in the balance right, the blood replenished me again. My last thought was at least not vain. I and my mistress side by side shall be together, breathe and write. So one day more am I defied. Who knows but the world may end tonight. So in these lines, speaker says that his beloved takes time to decide whether to accept his request or not. So she bows down her head and gets lost in deep thoughts. Her dark eyes express her pride as well as her pity for her lover. The time she takes to respond to her lover's request is a kind of great torture for the speaker. It is a matter of life and death for him. Finally, she grants his request, and the lover feels the circulation of blood in his body, and he also feels as if he is granted life by her. So, his request for a last ride didn't go in vain, and now they will ride with each other side by side. So, he says that now they will breathe and ride together, and it is a moment of heavenly bliss for the speaker. This moment has brought eternal happiness to him, and he wishes that if the world may end at this moment, then he would enjoy the eternal happiness in death also. Hush, if you saw some western cloud, all billowy bosomed overbowed by many benedictions, suns and moons and evening stars at once, and so you, looking and loving best, conscious grew your passion true, cloud, sunset, moonrise, star shine too, down on you near and yet more near, till flash must fade, for heaven was here. Thus leant she and lingered, joy and fear, thus lay she a moment on my breast. So, in these lines, the speaker says that he feels blessed when his beloved leans against him during the ride and places her head upon his chest. He compares this heavenly experience to a different kind of beautiful experience. He says that a man feels drawn to a round, beautiful cloud that looks amazing when the light of setting sun, moon, and the stars pass through it. So, this man feels so excited that he forgets the limitations of his physical self and feels himself to be transported to heaven. The speaker says that he feels the same kind of heavenly bliss that and excitement when his beloved leans against him. So he also feels the same kind of heavenly bliss and excitement when his beloved leans against him. And he is full of joy and fear. Actually, he fears that the lady would be away from him at any moment. Then we began to ride. My soul smoothed itself out, a long cramped scroll, freshening and fluttering in the wind. Past hopes already left behind. What need to strive with a life awry? Had I said that, had I done this, so might I gain, so might I miss? Might she have loved me just as well? She might have hated, who can tell? Where had I been now if the worst befell? And here we are riding, she and I. So, in these lines, the speaker says that his ride with his beloved has the same kind of impact upon him. The way a folded paper opens, humanity is exposed to the wind, and when it flutters in the wind like a bird. So, his disappointment and grief is replaced by joy and happiness in the company of his beloved. Next, he says that now he has left his hope of getting her love behind. Now he doesn't want to feel upset about his failures in life. He finds it useless to think that if he had expressed his love for her in a different manner, then she would have accepted him. There's also the possibility that she would have hated him so much that she wouldn't have granted this last right with him. Okay, and now he feels blessed that he is getting the pleasure of enjoying her company in this last ride with her. Fail I alone in words and deeds, why all men strive and who succeeds? We rode, it seemed my spirit flew, so other regions cities knew. As the world rushed by on either side, I thought all labor, yet no less, bear up beneath their unsuccess. Look at the end of work, contrast the petty done, the undone vast. This present of theirs with the hopeful past, I hoped she would love me. Here we ride. So, in these lines, the speaker says that he is not the only person who has got failed in his life, in his words, and in his actions. All men make efforts in their lives, but nobody succeeds. He says that in the company of his beloved, he feels like as if his soul is soaring high. So, whatever he sees around him during the ride seems divine to him. He appreciates the beauty of the fields, the cities that they pass during this ride with his beloved. Next, he starts reflecting upon the fate of human life. He says that all people get very less as compared to what they desired. Despite making a lot of efforts, they achieve very less. Similarly, the speaker had desired to get the love of his beloved, but he too got failed in his quest of love. But he feels grateful that she has agreed for the last ride, even though she has not accepted his love. What hand and brain went ever paired? What hurt alike conceived and dared? What act proved all its thought had been? What will but felt the flashy screen? We ride and I see her bosom heave. There's many a crown for who can reach. 10 lines, a statement's life in each. The flag stuck on a heap of bones, the soldiers doing what it taunts. They scratch his name on the abbey stones. My writing is better by their leave. So, in these lines, the speaker continues to think about the fate of humanity. He thinks that what people desire to achieve don't achieve in their lives. So, their actions do not do justice to their ambitions and objectives. So, man plans a lot in his life, but he hardly achieves much. He thanks his Lord that he has achieved this much pleasure that he can see the rise and fall of his beloved's bosom when they ride together with each other. So he believes that he is lucky than others in this manner. Next, he gives example of a statesman's life. He devotes his entire life to his country, but when he dies, only 10 lines are published in the newspaper about him. So this is the only reward he gets of his actions. Next, he talks about a soldier who sacrifices his life for the sake of his country, but the only reward that he gets is that he gets buried in the Westminster Abbey and a flag is hoisted over his memorial. So, in comparison to these people, the speaker believes that his own reward is better. What does it all mean, poet? Well, your brains beat into rhythm. You tell what we felt only. You expressed, you hold things beautiful the best, and paste them in rhyme, so side by side. It is something, nay, it is much, but then have you yourself what is best for men? Are you poor, sick, old ere your time, nearer one wit your own sublime? Then we who never had turned a rhyme, sing riding is a joy for me, I ride. So, in these lines, the speaker thinks about the poor lot of a poet. He says that the life of a poet is a failure. Actually, a poet expresses the ideas and thoughts that other people are not able to express in the form of poetry. A poet talks about sublime ideals and beautiful things that men try to achieve in their lives. But he himself doesn't achieve these sublime ideals and best things in life, and he dies in poverty, poor, sick, and old. Next, he says that he is more fortunate as compared to the poet. And you, great sculptor, so you gave a score of years to art, her slave, and that's your Venus. Whence we turn to yonder girl that forged the burn, you acquiesce, and shall I repine? What man of music, you grown grey, with notes and nothing else to say? Is this your sole praise from a friend? Greatly his opera strains intend. Put in music we know how fashion, and I gave my youth, but we ride in fine. So, in these lines, the speaker talks about a sculptor who devotes his entire life to his art and makes a beautiful statue of Venus, the Greek goddess of youth and beauty. Although people admire his art, but as soon as they see a real girl, they forget the beauty of the statue. A simple girl who walks through a stream of water catches people's attention than the statue. So that shows that life is greater than art. Next, the speaker talks about a musician who grows old in composing sweet tunes, but people's taste of music changes with time. So these songs are soon forgotten by people when the fashion and trend changes. So the speaker says that he is more lucky as compared to a sculptor and a musician, as he spent his entire youth in courting his beloved, and now he is riding with her. Who knows what is fit for us? Had fate proposed bliss here should sublimate my being. Had I signed the bond, still one must lead some life beyond. Have a bliss to die with dim disquiet. This foot once planted on the goal, this glory garland round my soul. Could I descry such, try and test? I sink back shuddering from the quest. Earth being so good, would heaven seem best? Now heaven and she are beyond this ride. So, in these lines, speaker says that in this world, people hardly succeed in achieving their goals. He says that it is difficult to know what is good for man. He says that the success in this life may mean failure in the life to come. He next says that if he had got his beloved's love in this life, then he would not have left with any hopes for the life after death. So, he is hoping that he would get the bliss in the life after death also. So now he is happy to know that he is going to get his beloved's love in heaven, if not on this earth. And yet she has not spoke so long. What if heaven be that fair and strong, at life's best, with our eyes upturned, whither life's flower is first discerned? We fix so, ever should so abide. What if we still ride on, we too, with life forever old yet new, changed not in kind but in degree, the instant made eternity, and heaven just prove that I and she ride right together forever right. So, in these lines, the speaker says that although he has been lost in his own thoughts, his beloved has not spoken a single word. He says that it doesn't matter to him if he is happy, that he has been enjoying the heavenly bliss by being with her on this ride. Next, he says that people believe that heaven lies somewhere in the sky, but for him, heaven is his beloved's company. He says that if he continues to ride with his beloved, it would be a heaven for him on this earth. He wants the present moment to be eternal and everlasting so that they may continue their ride. Next, he says that if there would be a change, then it should be in the intensity and depth of their emotions and nothing else. And here the poem ends.